All right, everybody. I'm Evan Geiger. I'm a journalism student at University of Houston, and here with me I have the always wonderful Stuart Nance. Go Cougs. I like that, Stuart. So, Stuart, we're here at a football game. We've been doing some football games together. It's been a pleasure to have you on. And just for the audience, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I like to tell people that I'm the oldest current freshman enrolled at Alvin Community College in Alvin, Texas. Started classes in late August and am working towards a degree in digital communications technology. My first class is RTVD 1309. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's broadcast and audio production. But my primary interest in that program in that school was the fact that they have a FM radio station, KACC, 89.7 FM, you know, 5,600 watt FM radio station that also live streams online. And yeah, I had an interest in radio as a young guy in high school a long time ago, and decided at the last minute to not pursue a career in radio, which frankly, in hindsight, was probably the right decision for me at the time, career-wise. But I'm at the point now where I'm near retirement, and thought maybe it's time for another look. So things have changed a lot since I did radio back in high school. The technology is completely different. It's all heavily automated versus today, or today's automated versus the essentially manual nature of broadcasting when I was doing it years ago. So it's been great. Met Evan in the bookstore when I was picking up my textbook for class, and we started talking about high school football broadcasting. And he kind of invited me to join as a color commentator. And this is our big thing, and it's been a blast.
It has been a lot of fun. I know you told me when we first met, you said that you were excited to get back on air, back on the radio in some way after 44 years.
Yeah.
So you last had radio experience 44 years ago. That was in high school, right?
Yeah. 1978 was my last broadcast. Back in those days, you had to have a license from the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. That requirement has gone away. So I took the test as a 16-year-old and passed into the third class radio telephone license holder, and did a radio program called the Tuesday Morning Experience when I was in high school. I also was the program director and station manager my senior year. So, I was into it big time. As a matter of fact, I also did a video documentary while I was in school, and the title of that documentary was What About Radio? And I went and interviewed program director and the on-air disc jockey for one of the stations in Dallas where I grew up. And that documentary won first place in the Texas Film Festival in Austin. It was sponsored by the University of Texas for the high school division. So I was pretty serious about it. But at the last minute, I realized that I was probably going to be taking the vow of poverty if I pursued a career in radio, and I decided not to do that and switch majors to business and kind of never looked back.
Yeah. So you went to the University of Austin, or University of Texas at Austin, right? And you went from there and you worked in the oil and gas industry.
Right.
And what kind of positions in the oil and gas industry did you hold?
Yeah, so I started out upstream with a company that drilled well. I was a landman, so my job was to go out and negotiate with property owners for the right to drill wells on the property. And then that kind of evolved, and more recently I've been working with hydrocarbon marketing, both for upstream producing companies and midstream service providers. And then within the last year, I started a consultancy called X Strategy, which is hydrocarbon export strategy. So working with people to try to find ways to export hydrocarbons to the United States. And that's gone, frankly, slower than I'd hoped, and so it's freed up the time to look into radio and try to do some other things in the meantime while I'm waiting for my consulting practice.
It's pretty interesting stuff, and I got to say, we've talked quite a bit over the past couple weeks. Some of the stuff is brand new to me that you're telling me. So I'm genuinely surprised a little bit by some of this. Um, what are you hoping will come out of this journey, or what is your dream job that's going to come from this? Or in your mind, how is this going to play out to the best possible way?
It's kind of a funny story, Evan. I set up a search on LinkedIn, looking for a job or a seat on a board of directors. And the search came back one day and it said board operator for iHeartRadio in Houston, which, technically meets the specifications of the search, but it's not a board of director job, it's a board operator job. And as you know, that's the guy behind the scenes that's making all the programming work and getting it on the air. And I thought, I couldn't support myself, but I don't need to do that, doing that job. So, we'll see. Since I've been back at it, doing the radio programs, doing football games with you, my thoughts have evolved a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't really know.
Maybe think being a disc jockey would be board ops. Would that be something that would tickle your fancy in terms of a job, or are you now more interested in sports? Do you want to be a radio commentator? What is there one thing that really stands out to you?
Well, I'll tell you what's become apparent to me is that radio changed tremendously since I was here. I mean, you can't even imagine. I was in the studio at KCC the other day, and I was like, when I was on the radio, nobody knew what a mouse was. It hadn't been invented yet. And think about that. All the computerized automation, none of that existed. We had turntables and a microphone and a mixing board, but it was all very manual and highly unautomated. But so it has changed. But the other thing that's changed is live streaming. You're not limited in time or location for people to hear. And so basically, the concept that I'm working on is it's sort of radio on demand. It's podcasting. It's people can listen to it when it's convenient for them, and they don't have to be within the sound of your voice based on where the transmitter is located. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to take what I've done in energy and oil and gas and probably evolve that into a series of podcasts, and that would be my best bet. Although maybe low-powered FM station or strictly online radio station, I'm still learning about that. So lots to learn, but I'm having a great time, and really want to thank you and the folks at ACC for helping me along the way.
Pretty good program over there. I mean, it's a smaller setting, and they're able to kind of get you hands-on experience right away, without any sort of delay or anything like that, and good connections. And I mean, I can't say enough about especially Mr. Nichols over there,
Right.
and the way that he's helped me and put me in front of people and gotten me opportunities. And he always likes to say, well, it was your own hard work and it was you, but it really would not have been possible without him making a call and without him saying, yes, you can use this equipment, or yes, you can go to this game or whatever. And so I echo your sentiment about ACC and how great it's been. It put us together, and I'm glad that we're friends and working together now. And I'm excited to see where things kind of go for you in the near future.
Think about this, Evan. I mean, it's been roughly a month since I started going to school down there. I've done 5 or 6 radio programs. I've done a handful of football games with you. And you're right, Jason Nichols and Maddie Sullivan have both done a really nice job of helping me just kind of dive into the deep end and make a couple of mistakes, but figuring it out and nothing fatal. It's just radio, and you just pick yourself up and keep going. But no, I've been very pleased and couldn't be happier. I was driving down to Allen the other day. It's about a 15-minute drive from where I live in Houston, and I was thinking, I'm the luckiest guy around to be able to do this. It's just really joyful. When I was in high school, my program was the Tuesday morning experience. And when I got a shift at KCC, it was Tuesday morning, so I resurrected that. But but we moved it to Thursdays now because there was some other programming that was scheduled on Tuesdays that conflicted with the time slot that I was given. So thinking about kind of rebranding the Tuesday morning experience into something else, but it's just been a blast. So very thankful to them and to you for the opportunity to work with USC for anything with Andy.
Yeah, Andy's great, of course, always the versatile Andy Frick, cameraman extraordinaire. But I wanted to ask you, so I mean, you sounded pretty good on the radio. You sounded very good at this. You sound like a natural all the way around. When I hear you on the radio, when I watch back and listen to the game. But I want to ask you, what has been the most fun thing that you've done since you got back into this about a month ago?
Well, we had a midterm assignment for our class, the broadcasting class, to do a mashup. And in my head, back in the 70s, I had a mashup of Tuesday morning experience. And in those days, the way we used to edit audio was you took magnetic tape, you used a razor blade, and actually spliced it together. And I never actually got around to doing that. But the way things have evolved, I've now, in fact, I finished it this afternoon, so today the fourth grade. I actually did the mashup that I'd always wanted to do. And, you know, 3 different components, Tuesday morning experience, but all electronically edited. And I'll play it for you sometime. But that was, to me, I had a smile a mile wide when I finished doing that because I've heard it in my head forever, but now it actually exists where I can listen to it, play it for people. So it's been a treat. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, people just sort of shake their heads when I tell them, yeah, the technology that we have, like literally, if you look at the software, the edit is a little razor blade.
Mhm.
That's what we actually use to cut the tape and splice it together.
I mean, that, I know things have obviously changed a lot, as you mentioned, but mouse didn't even exist in that context back then. But I was born in '96, and so you talk about editing in the '70s. I didn't even realize. I can only imagine how bad of a audio editor I would have been with a razor blade back then.
Well, that was audio. Yeah, the video we actually had to jump cut. And anyway, I won't. That's a conversation for another time. But the technology is great, and it's been fun.
Well, my last question for you, sir, what would you say to somebody who's 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, thinking about going back to college or going back to try a new career and kind of taking a leap?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. And frankly, I would just say do it. You know, I went back and got my MBA when I was 40, and now I'm back in school in my 60s. And it's very energizing to be around young people. I have sons your age. And, you know, I enjoy being around folks that are learning and have an interest. And I would tell them, hey, go for it. You know, and Alvin's a great place. There are other community colleges as well. But you know, you really, if I had one piece of advice I would give to somebody, you know, in the 20s, I'd say, be a lifetime learner. And it's cliche, but it's also a really sound piece of advice.
No, that is good advice. I've heard, in different terms, not necessarily maybe a lifetime learner, but always you want to be better, smarter than you were before. And I think that's really good advice. And, I've had a blast doing this, and thank you so much for being with me.
My pleasure, Evan.
Thank y'all for watching.